Welcome to week 1 of 6-pack and 10. Let's use this time to get our necessary equipment to set up our space, and you've got about 13 seconds. So when the program begins, we're going to be using a 45-20 timer. So there's going to be 45 seconds of action and 20 seconds of rest. First up, we have forearm plank slider saws. So grab your sliders. If you don't have sliders available, you can also use a towel or a book, anything you can put under your toes to slide into the movement. If you have none of those available, instead of sliding, you can tiptoe down into your core. Well, your abdominals, because your core is more than your abdominals, is close to the ground. So I'm performing the movement here. As I'm sliding down, I'm inhaling, breathing into my spine, and squeezing my glutes. That way my back isn't taken over. So you're gonna inhale as you slide down, exhale as you come up. And I'm not coming up any higher than the standard plank because you wanna keep that tension on the abdominals. Now let's say you need to rest, bring your butt in the air in a bit, but try to stay in that plank. You've got a couple seconds left. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cody Lashley, is this you?
Next up, we have a standard forearm plank. So put the sliders to the side. We're in the same position, but this time we're holding the plank for 45 seconds. So notice my toes are pointing in towards my face. I'm gonna inhale, pull my belly button into the spine, and the entire time I'm squeezing my glutes. So let's say this gets tough. Don't quit. Get your stance a bit wider. The wider your stance is, the easier it'll be to hold the plank. You're almost there. Make sure you're breathing. Fight the urge to just hold your breath throughout the entire time. Keep some sort of breathing pattern. A few seconds left. You have a rest coming up in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how we work. Next up, we have a lower abdominal plank. So stay on the ground, just roll over onto your back. The best way to get into this position is to start with both legs in the air and then lower them down until they're about 5 to 6 inches above the ground. So when you're in this position, it is imperative that you're inhaling into your spine so that your abs are engaged. So we're starting now. Let's get it. This is an advanced movement, but I have a couple of regressions for you if this is a bit too tough. So you can turn this into an active move instead of an isometric by, instead of holding your legs there, lifting them up and down while keeping your belly button pulled into the spine. You can also regress this one by putting your hands under your lower back. Rest in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Next up, we're going to do forearm plank climber jacks. So we're still on the mat, but we're going to roll over into a forearm plank. From the forearm plank position, we're going to do one mountain climber, then one jack. So get ready. We're starting now. As you can see, while I'm in this position, I'm trying my best to keep my hips squared up towards the ground. Again, this is another advanced movement. We have a few regressions. Try your best to keep up, but if it's too tough, try holding the plank. Also, you can transition from a forearm to a push-up plank. Some people find that a bit easier because you can keep your hips a little further away from the ground. That way your abs aren't as engaged, but your heart rate will be up. We know if we want that 6-pack, you also want to be in a caloric deficit. So you want the heart rate up. It's not just going to be a ton of crunches that's going to get you the aesthetics that you're looking for. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and you earned it. Next up is going to be a plank reach tap. So we're going to be in a push-up plank position. You're going to fight rotation by breathing into your spine and squeezing your glutes, trying to keep your hips facing the ground. You're going to reach forward with each hand, then reach across and tap each shoulder. So watch here in the video preview. So you can see here, I'm fighting to keep my hips facing the ground as I reach, then reach across and tap, tap. Now let's work. So as soon as you lift that hand up, you want to inhale into your spine because your body's going to want to shift. It's you pulling your belly button into your spine that's going to get your abdominals working. So we got a few regressions. So you can take out the tap. You can only do the reach. You can also just hold the push-up plank. Let's say you're 20 seconds in and it's like, damn, I can't keep going. Try to hold that push-up plank. We want to keep our abdominals working this entire 10 minutes. You're almost there. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. Take a deep breath, relax. My abdominals are cramping a bit. I know yours probably are, but that's okay. Rest is over. Next up, we're going to do a side plank dip. So that means we're in a side plank. You want to make sure you're not digging your elbow into the ground. So when you're in this position, it's like you're pushing the ground away. So you're pushing the ground away with that the hand that's on the ground, and you're trying to fight to keep the hips up. So you're going to go down, tap, then raise your butt towards the ground. There's a couple of ways to regress this movement. I'm going to show you right here. You can bend the bottom leg, and it's the same thing. But if you're choosing to do that regressed version of the move, it's important that you're keeping your hips up high. You'll still get activation depending on your level of experience. You can choose which variation you want, but I'm displaying both of them here. What's important is that you're keeping your butt up high. That's how you're going to get your obliques working. Your obliques, that's the side of your abdominals there. That's going to get you that taper you want. We only have another 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest up. I bet you can't guess what's the next move. It's the same thing, but on the other side. So take a second, take a quick sip of water. We're almost through. We're more than halfway through. Rest is almost over. We have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Starting in 3, 2, and now we're on the other side. So the same cues apply, the same regressions apply. You can also unstack your feet. So the way I'm doing it here, I have my feet stacked. You can put one foot in front of the other, but make sure you're bending your toes in towards your face. You're not pointing down, and you're fighting to keep the hips up. Hips are up, hips are up. Also, you're exhaling and inhaling. That breathing pattern is important, especially when your heart rate is up. It's for all experience levels, especially if you're a beginner. We're trying to fight. Almost there, team. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Only 3 movements left. Next is going to be beast lateral crawls. So get into a plank position, but then bring your knees under your hips. You can see me in the position here. I'm crawling laterally the length of my mat, but I'm attempting to remain in the beast hold or bear hold. It's referred to as both, but the point here is that your abdominals are engaged and we're fighting rotation while trying to keep our hips squared up with the ground. The same cues from the other moves, that repetitive breathing cue, it's important here, especially when you're trying to train your core muscles. Other things are going to want to help. Your quads are going to be engaged here. This, again, is an advanced movement. We have 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. If that was too tough for you, you can bring it back and just hold the beast hold. That's another regression that's available. Rest is almost over. We've got 3, 2, and let's get it. So we're transitioning into the next move. There's going to be a balance bike into a V reach. So you're going to perform one balance air bike. I'm in a hollow hold here, then transition into a V reach. We have a couple of regressions that we can choose from. Performing the balance bike is too tough from that hollow hold where my chest is up top. You can do a regular air bike where instead of having your chest up high, how mine's is, your back's on the ground and you're just bringing the elbow to the opposite knee and exhaling each time and then going into a V reach. Another regression is instead of doing a V reach, reaching up towards your toes, you can do the air bike I mentioned before and just reach forward towards your knees, making sure you're keeping your chest up and exhaling. Whichever way you chose, we're almost through. We have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and great job. And remember, you have access to this forever, so you can return to it later. And the goal is by the second time you do this, you should be able to maybe not do the regression on one of those moves. You want to push yourself. You don't want to just go through the motions. That's not how you're going to get the 6-pack in 10 minutes a day. You really have to push it each time. So we're moving to the following movement, which is just a push-up plank hold. We're going to end with an old school push-up plank hold. And we're in it. So as you can see here, my hands are directly under my shoulders. I'm pushing into the ground while squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button up into my spine, keeping a wide stance. So the only thing I'm going to say different for this one is I want you to hold this until failure. Yes, there's a timer on the screen, but really push yourself until you can't maintain a proper plank, push-up plank anymore or extended plank. So the time is ticking. And again, remember the cue from earlier of keeping that wide stance in order to make it a bit easier. Countdown. We have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or keep going. Great job. You've made it through week 1 or day 1, as this is the challenge for every day of the first week. So every day we're expected to do this 10-minute workout to the best of your ability. Try to do the plank a little bit longer each day. Try to not do a regression the next day. That's the only way it's going to be effective. Don't hit me up like, hey, I'm not getting results if you're giving a piss poor effort. You should be on fire by the time you're done with this workout. Have an amazing job. Let me know how you did. See you next week. Peace.